Welcome. I'm so honored that you're joining me today on Reclaim Your Life event. I'm Duane, the host and the producer of the series, and I'm a life recovery coach and a transformational guide for women, helping them reclaim their lives and discover their authentic voice. This is the third season of Reclaim Your Life, featuring leading visionaries and heart-centered businesswomen whose passion through their work is to serve others and share their gifts with the universe to make it a better place. Each guest will share intimate details on how they've transcended extraordinary challenges, loss, and in some cases, trauma to become the women that they are today. And I have to tell you, we have a sizzler of a guest today. Stacey Martino helps people who feel stuck, frustrated, and helpless with the challenges that intimate relationships bring. Stacey firmly believes that it absolutely does not take two to tango. She consistently proves that one person can transform a relationship, any relationship. Through targeted strategic coaching programs and live events for her relationship transformational system, Stacey empowers you to create your unshakable love and unleashed passion without needing your partner to participate in the process in order for you to get the results that you want in your relationship. Trained and certified as a marriage educator and divorce preventionist, Stacey has been featured by Anthony Robbins, Your Tango, Blog Talk Radio, Bloomberg, Yahoo, QVC, and she is the relationship expert for Aspire magazine. Welcome, Stacey, and congratulations on becoming a best-selling international author. I love sharing that platform with you, girlfriend.
I love it too, Mal. Thank you so much for having me, and it is truly a juicy honor to co-author our book together and become an international best-selling author.
Well, what I love about you is I have met you many times, and you are the real deal.
Aww.
You exude love. You have this amazing relationship with your man. It's real, and it's captivating to be with the two of you.
Oh.
But I want to read a quote from what you wrote in Choosing Happiness so that people can truly understand where you came from.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And this is very powerful. I think that sometimes when people imagine choosing happiness, they think of choosing something smiley and fun, something that brings them no pain. In my experience, the moment we choose happiness is often the most painful, scary, soul-shaking moment of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely true.
And so what I would love to do is go back to when Stacey Martino was not this loving, sizzling half of a fabulous relationship, but a woman who had built a heart wall. That's a term they use in emotional body work. And when I've read your story, I know you had a heart wall.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
weren't going to let anybody in.
Nope, I was done with that.
Why did you build that? What happened? What caused you to get to that point?
You know, I think that like many women, Mal, it was a series of events that caused me to build little by little. And a lot of what I refer to today affectionately as overcorrections, right? Like, oh, I did this and this hurt. I'm going all the way in the other direction because that must be the right answer. And we do that as we grow. And for me, I had really had enough of the having my heart broken, feeling needy, thinking I was pathetic, feeling like I wanted it more than he did, and then caring so much and hurting so much. And meanwhile, he doesn't look like he's caring all that much. He doesn't look like he's hurting all that much. And in your 20s and even in my teens, that was a very common dynamic for me. being that I am a sunshiny, vibrant, happy, passionate girl by nature. And I decided that, growing up, a lot of what I heard from well-intending women who wanted to look out for me, because I grew up in a generation where women were being left for the first time. Divorce was becoming legal. It was possible to end your marriage. It wasn't even possible before that. And a lot of the women in my life, in my family, with very positive intent for me, were teaching me, be strong. Don't depend on someone else so that you get hurt. Don't end up like me. Don't let somebody, treat you badly. All of these things that they were doing to try to protect me. And then in my own life, I'm experiencing the trials of relationship where most relationships don't work, right? Until you end up creating the one that does. Most of them end up ending in some form or another and getting hurt. And eventually I started building up these walls, thinking, well, it's because I care too much, so that's why I'm getting hurt. It's because I'm all in, or I need to just toughen up. I'll man up like him. It doesn't seem like it hurts that much for him. And then I entered corporate America and really started getting rewarded for that dynamic. I heard a lot when I entered public accounting. No emotion here, honey. No tears. You can't be crying here. It's all about the result. Deliver, deliver, focus, focus. And those are very masculine tools. And I got very good at that, as women are very good at adapting to whatever we need to do to survive. And it became very safe for me to just go into that mode, Mal, and to shut off the emotion. It was almost like a reprieve, like, oh, good. I don't want to deal with that mess anyway. This is getting me a lot of significance, and I'm being promoted, and I'm making the money I wanted, and I'll provide for myself. It's a win-win-win. But it ran amok with me, and I ended up going very strongly into my masculine. I became, as you know, back then, the Ice Princess. Very known for that nickname and very proud of it. But honestly, the Ice Princess is not wired for success in love. And the truth is that a lot of what I was doing was motivated by fear. And the truth is that we're all wired to love and be loved magnificently. And I was running from that. It's an overcorrection. And that's how I ended up the Ice Princess, with all of the heart walls and the protection, until, the universe sent me Paul Martino. And he just shook my world and sent me for a tailspin that I never saw coming.
Now, it's very common for women that are in high-powered jobs, successful, to take on that persona, that
Yes.
masculine energy, because they want to survive in their careers, they want to excel.
Yeah.
But to be successful in business, you don't have to forego love and quality relationships, but we seem to do that.
Yeah, I'd say even take it further. Not only do we forego, because I don't know about anybody else, but in my experience in corporate America and in business, most of the time, it's kind of implied, at least where I came from, like it's family or it's your career.
Mm-hmm.
You can't excel in both. It's like chasing two rabbits. They both get away. Ultimately, you have to choose. And for women, this is a really tough place, because most people in most, past decades, it's changing a little bit now. Men are not really asked to do exactly the same thing. But women, oftentimes, it is scrutinized, and we do feel like we have to choose. But I'll take my awakening one step further. Because for a long time, I went through my breakthrough of melting my heart wall just for Paul. And I was still completely convinced that, but when I go to work, got to be the Ice Princess and deliver, because that's what gets me the results. And eventually I realized that there's no way, it's not even possible to be more successful in business or anything in your life being something you're not, rather than being who you really are.
Yes.
It's just not possible. You can never achieve the heights of success, and you already know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a lot of lessons, like a lot of us, to learn that. But the truth is that until you are more of who you really are, not focusing on what you're not and trying to be what you're not, but just who you really are, your authentic self, and enhance that and empower yourselves with the tools and strategies to really work with that and bring out your best and bring out the best in others, that's when you excel in everything, in fulfillment, in life, in relationships, in your business. And certainly that is the case. And the truth is that when you're living in love and your relationship is in a good place, everything in your life becomes easier and you have more energy to give to all of it. And we've all been in that situation where we're in a relationship that is so painful that it kind of takes everything down with it. And I had been through that as well.
Now, your relationship with Paul, which was your awakening, how long had you been together when you had that famous night out in the driveway?
Yeah, it was 4 years. So
you had a long-term relationship
going. It was a pretty
going.
serious relationship in my 20s to be with somebody for 4 years. And what made it more serious for me is that Paul and I never started out just going on a date and being attracted to each other. I was in another relationship when I met Paul. And so Paul and I became best friends. And we were best friends for a couple of years where we did everything together. I never even thought about, being my best behavior with Paul or like always making sure I look good. The first time Paul told me that he has feelings for me, like the tape went through my head of all the times he's seen me like in my ponytail and my glasses and throwing up and oh no, the time that I painted my house. And like, you go through that reel of like, I was being my whole self with him.
Mm-hmm.
He never held back because he was one of my best friends. And it gave us the foundation of what got us through that night you referred to, that fateful night on my driveway, where he was coming to me after 4 years and saying, I want to go back to being with my friend Stacey because I can only get so close to you. Like you say, Mal, my heart wall was up and he was constantly bumping up against it. He's like, I just don't see how this can work out. And so there was so much that came crashing down because my relationship with him was even more important to me than a dating relationship because he was one of my best friends.
Mm. So he says he wants to end it, and the ice princess goes right into a tailspin.
Yeah, I really was shocked at my reaction. I mean, you know who I am today, but back then I had no relationship skills. I mean, Ice Princess, it doesn't exactly come with a handbook for masterful relationships. And so I didn't, my brain was listening to him talking and I'm processing and I'm like, yep, I've heard this before. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I can only get so close to you. You've got walls up. You're, Ice Princess, all of those things. I know who you really are, but I can't get there. I've heard this before. But in that moment, Mal, my reaction unnerved me because I could feel the tears start to roll down my cheeks. And Paul had never seen me cry in the years we'd been together. But before that moment, I hadn't cried in the 10 years prior to that moment.
Ooh.
So I started to unravel. And the self-talk started. Like, what are you crying? Are you crying in front of someone else? What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? And it kept going. And, kind of the floodgates were opening because 10 years a woman goes without trying to feel anything. There's some stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I started to go into that really heavy cry and sobs. And then the self-talk in my head started to change. It got very quiet and very serious. And when I heard that just shook me, I didn't know how to handle it, was, you failed. You failed, you failed, you failed. Not failed at the relationship, that actually wasn't a huge surprise for me. Failed to protect myself. Mm-hmm. What was this pain I'm feeling? I had orchestrated my whole life on protecting myself from feeling pain. What's going on here? Why does this hurt so much? I didn't even know my heart was involved in this relationship until that moment. And so I started to unravel because the self-talk started going. And what I realized was, if I can't actually protect myself from this pain, if that whole thing was an illusion that I was telling myself and I'm not protecting myself, I'm not sure I know how to live through the rest of the day without being able to protect myself, because that was the blueprint of my whole life. And so I started to have this unraveling, and I guess later I heard this term that I'd never heard before, would have been helpful at the time, but I think it really describes what I was going through. I heard that some people break down and others break open. And I know, Mal, that that's what was happening for me, because when I started having this like breaking of the walls around my heart, I felt this surge of love for Paul that I never felt before for him or anybody else in life. And I realized, if that could be my center of gravity, if I could live with that kind of love every day, and if I can't actually protect myself from the pain anyway, I've literally been not even living my life. I've been living to protect myself from life. Then I might as well live. I might as well, it's worth whatever risk, whatever pain. I'm not protecting myself from it anyway. And I haven't lived. I haven't jumped all in. And I just had this breakthrough, this awakening that no matter what, I want to live the life I have. I want to try to live in this center of gravity of love. I want to learn how to live through this without protecting myself. Somehow I have to get back to who I really am, because I know that this is not really me. And I looked up at Paul, and here I am having this awakening, and I'm like, I know now, I know. And I look at him, and he has this look in his face like, this could not be going any worse. I am trying to break up with this girl and go. Like, he didn't know what to do with me. And so, having no relationship skills, no tools at all at the time, I did the only thing that I could think of, and I just begged him. I told him, everything you're saying is right, Paul. You're right. Our relationship is crap. All of that. I have been half-assed. I've been 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But I know that I have not been my whole self. And I have to have a chance to get back to who I really am. And then if you don't love the real me, the authentic person, then I release you with love. But at least give me a chance to play whole ass and let me see what happens. And he did, thank goodness, give me a second chance. And I dove in. I learned everything I could about men, women, relationships, being my most authentic self in relationship. And I really started to transform. But what I noticed was my transformation was having a huge impact on Paul. And he was really shifting, and our relationship was changing. And eventually in time, he came to me and said, I don't know what you've been doing, Stacey, but you are your most authentic self. You are so accessible and real and raw, and I'm with you all the time. Like, I can connect right to you, no walls, and I feel like a better version of who I am. I feel like the man I know I could be too, and I'm not even reading anything that you're doing. What are you doing? Because I'm all in. And so we jumped in, and for the last 14 years, have studied with the greatest experts and traveled and invested to create our unshakable love and unleash passion. And that's why it's our mission to help and empower everyone who wants to transform their relationship to create this kind of unshakable love and unleash passion too.
Well, I've been with the two of you, and it's electric to be in your company, because it is such a real love and admiration, and there's such a gentle way about the both of you when you interact with one another that is an expression of pure love. It is such a delightful experience to watch.
Oh, thank you, Mel.
What would you say to someone who's listening to this that has had that heart wall, has been afraid to step up with both feet, get in? What's the first thing they could do?
Well, the first thing you can do is decide that you're worth it. So many people, myself included in the past, get so stuck in focusing on the partner or the relationship, and we don't realize that it's for us. This kind of all in, this kind of I'm going to transform myself and my relationship, it's not for your partner. It's not for that relationship. It may end up being like I did with Paul. I didn't know. I'm like, I really don't know. Our relationship may actually be crap, but I know I don't know now. I don't know in this the way I am today. And so I would say decide that you're worth it. when you do this kinds of transformational work, when you learn how to really throw your whole self in and love fully without measuring, love without holding back, love without punishing, and learn how to be your most authentic self, how to be loved for your most authentic self, and how to love unconditionally this way, it's a gift for you. Because at that point, you'll either know with certainty and peace in your heart, you know what, this actually isn't the relationship that's aligned for me long term, but from a place of compassion and peace and love, I'm ready to transition to what is my forever love. Or you'll know, hey, I just didn't have the tools and strategies before to navigate this kind of stress. But now that I do, I'm optimistic to know that I can absolutely create this kind of unleashed passion and unshakable love for myself. So I would say that the first step is to decide that you're worth it and to see that it's a gift for you. Because no matter what you do, you will take you with you to the next relationship. And wherever you are in your vibration on the relationship that you're in right now is the vibration that you're taking with you to the next relationship, the vibration that will attract someone who's in that same area in their life to be with you, because we're always attracting an exact match. So I would say the first decision is to choose that you're worth it.
You have brought up two fabulous and very important points here. One is the vibration of the relationship that you could be leaving. And women always say, why do I keep getting the same kind of guys that keep treating me the same way? What am I doing wrong? You just answered that.
Yeah.
If you don't change that vibration, you're a magnet for the same thing over
Amen.
and over and over again.
Yes, most people do repeat the same. We may go through a situation where we get into a relationship and in the beginning there's that surge of passion and chemistry, and that changes our experience of that partner. But as that fades and as the love and relationship and sameness starts to cultivate, you're going to go back to your patterns that you know, your blueprint of how you've wired yourself up until now. And so is that other person, and it's probably going to be repeating a lot of the same patterns. It's about us shifting ourselves on really mastering and understanding and appreciating the differences between men and women, because we're completely different, so that we can experience what we want now and in the future as well. It's absolutely about the vibration. That's how everything that we do, Mal, as you know, is strategically designed for one partner to transform the relationship. Both people don't need to participate in this process. And the reason is because you're shifting your vibration, you're shifting how you see your partner, you're shifting how you engage, and that just creates a response from them. We're always triggering our partner. I'm just helping people shift from triggering the negative of what they don't want into triggering the positive of what they do.
And the other key point that you brought up, Stacey, unconditional love. I don't think people really comprehend fully what that means. Someone cannot live up to what your expectations of them might be, or the changes that you want to see in them. And I'd love for you to delve into that a little bit deeper.
It's so true, Mal, and you're so spot on. I would even go so far as to say that people have a really low tolerance and really low threshold these days for pain, emotional pain, upset, disappointment. And unconditional love is something that most people reserve for their children and not their partner. And the truth is that your child, and it happens, I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old, so I get it. Your child can throw themselves on the floor, stomp up the stairs and say, I hate you, you're the worst parent, every other one of my friends is able to go, and everyone else has this, and you can look at them and be like, I don't care, I love you, I have a job to do, I don't need you to be my friend, I need to do what's right for you, I love you no matter what, I understand you're ranting and raving, I was once 11, I ranted and raved, go right ahead, and you still love them unconditionally. Because you've made that decision when they were born, that as the parent, I'm the giver. And as the child, they're the receiver. It's my turn to give. I'm not only going to give love to them when they're being a good boy in response to me. That's ridiculous. But in our relationships, we don't take that same approach. Most of us measure. Most of us look for, well, if you're behaving the way that I want you to behave, then I'll reward you with what I want to give. But no one who has a magnificent relationship, no one does that long term, because that does not work. First of all, most people give love the way they want to be loved, but that's not the way your partner needs to receive it. Everyone has their own way of needing to be loved. And a true masterful relationship is where one partner really delves in and understands how that other person needs to be loved. As cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as you may think it is, that someone's map for love means you take out the garbage without me having to ask. It's just the truth for some people. And it's about honoring that and not measuring what you give back. And when it comes down to it, many of us, well, I'll dare to say every one of us, we all want to be loved unconditionally. We all know we're going to have bad behavior. We all know we're going to mess up. We all know we're going to do something wrong. And we want someone who will just love us no matter what in that moment. But not many of us are willing to give that. Mm-hmm. And you have to give it to get it. And it's something that you need to train yourself to do, because we don't have a lot of role models for this these days. And not a lot of people in our lives are talking about this, but you literally can train yourself and build that emotional muscle to love unconditionally. And let me tell you, you will spark unconditional love in return. If you can think of a moment in your life when you were really ugly to somebody or snapped at them, and it had nothing to do with them, it wasn't their fault, you were just in a crap mood and you just, and they were nice in response to you. If you've ever had this rare moment, how did you feel in that moment? It just feels so, yeah. But about them, we end up feeling like, wow, I didn't deserve your graciousness. And it builds that loyalty. You'd be like, you know what, I'm there for you no matter what, because you were there for me when I was my ugliest. And when we do that in intimate relationship, who do you want to build that loyalty and trust with more than your intimate partner? You know you're going to face storms together. You know you're going to face winters together. You want to face them as a team and know that we're going to end up on the other side of this together too. And that's what unconditional love is for. You need to give it to get it, but it's not something that interrupts your day. And it doesn't happen organically for a lot of people because it's been trained out of us. So we need to retrain ourselves.
Beautiful. You are so generous.
Aww.
You have a wonderful gift for our audience. How to transform your relationship in 8 steps. I'd love for you to give us a brief description of what that wonderful gift is all about.
Yeah, Paul and I, we transformed our relationship, but the truth is that in the first year, I was transforming our relationship by myself. Paul wasn't participating in the process. Accidentally, I transformed my relationship on my own. But as I did this work and as I became, a relationship educator, I realized that it's very rare that 2 people in the relationship both want to work on it at the same time using the same modality. It just doesn't happen. And so we intentionally created our system for one partner to do these 8 steps and see a catapult of a transformation in their relationship in how their partner responds to them. So Paul and I took 2 years and we figured out and honed in, what did we do that works? What have we helped other people that work? Just the best of the best. And what do we want to make sure people know never to do, because it's what experts out there are talking about, but it's going to cause a ton of damage. And in what order would we teach it? And what are the tools that work the fastest? And we honed it all in and put it together and created our 8-step relationship transformation system. It's our 8 steps to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. Whether your relationship is hanging by a thread and you're not even sure if this is the right partner for you, you need to get to that place of clarity and certainty and safety to know whether this is or isn't the right relationship for you and how to rebuild if it is. Or you're in a caring and loving relationship, but the passion has fizzled and you need to reignite that passion. Or if you're in between relationships and you really want to do the work now to transform yourself into the most authentic person who will vibrate in the way that attracts the right partner for you, and to know and trust yourself to choose the relationship that is the right fit for you. Wherever you are in that spectrum, these 8 steps will take you from where you are to where you want to go. And we give them away. We're happy, happy, happy to give them away because it's our mission to help you create that for yourself. And that's this audio program, How to Transform Your Relationship in 8 Steps. You can listen to it and listen to me teach you every single step of the 8-step system so that you can do this for yourself.
Beautiful. You know, Stacey, what I love is people probably don't realize how important your work is because it's a ripple effect. And when you create happy relationships, happy marriages, you're creating happy children who will go on and have healthy relationships as they mature. So it's really a huge shift for the universe to have all these people starting to build loving, real, authentic, respectful relationships. It's so important.
Aw.
Bless you for your contribution.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Val. You're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. It's my joy and pleasure to serve, and it is a blessing. We have helped thousands of people around the world now, and I do get emails and letters and calls all the time from people who are changing their lives. Their children's lives are changing.
Yes.
There are Love and Passion Coach babies being born now that would not have been born if families weren't able to stay together, and it is a blessing, and I am honored, and thank you for helping me by being an angel and helping us to reach the people who need us the most.
Thank you so much for all that you do, the light that you shine on all of us, and it's always an honor to be able to connect with you like this.
Mwah.
Love you, girl.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.